All right, in the previous video, we went and set up our project, so we should be ready to go. We should have our audio in here. We should have a timeline, which is our project already created. So if you look in this section right here, there's a couple of ways that you can look at this. If you click on this icon, for example, that'll show you all of the media this way. And if you click on this one, it'll kind of break it down a little bit so you can see the media up at the top and then a list of what media you have. So I like using this one because it allows me, especially later when we get into other projects that'll have different types of medias and different video clips and all kinds of other stuff that you'll look at. I'd rather be able to have it all here so I can kind of select it. Once you select the piece that you're looking or to work with, in this case I'm looking at this piece of audio, I can actually play it at the top if I just hit the space bar. And then I'm also going to be able to select sections of this. We won't be doing any of that right now. We're just going to grab the whole thing. But in future projects, I'll show you how to do that. If I just grab it and drag it right down here, this is our timeline. You'll notice that it'll automatically snap to the beginning, and the reason why it did that. And you may have a little note up here that'll kind of talk to you about the configuration of the media that you're working with. And so you might have to just kind of look at that. And in this case, I'm just going to click OK. Over here, you'll see a couple of icons. This one on the far right at the top here allows you to snap to the lines and certain sections of your piece. I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but you want that selected right now. Just make sure that that is. It's going to make it a little bit easier for you. All right. Right now, what we've done is we drug down the entire audio piece, and it's down here on the timeline. You'll notice that this is a slider down here that kind of allows you to move from left to right, from the beginning of the timeline all the way to the end of the timeline. If I want to be able to see all of this in one place, I can slide right here and make all of my piece, all of my project visible by making it kind of smaller, right? If I want to zoom into a section, I can magnify that, and now I'm looking into a section a lot in a more magnified way, so I can kind of mess around and edit stuff a little bit more precisely by looking at specific areas, okay? So we have an entire song here. The next step is going to be to work with our text. So if I play this on the timeline, I just have to hit the space bar. If I hit home, it'll take me to the very beginning, hit the space bar, that's going to play. All right? So this is very similar to what you may be used to from using GarageBand. How do we get the text? Over here where we have the T icon, that's where we get our graphics or our text, which is what we're going to be working with. If you select all over here, it's going to give you all of the different types of graphics or text animations and things that are available. There's a long list of them, and I'm going to encourage you to kind of really play around and mess around and look through a lot of the stuff that's available. There's a lot of cool little effects that you can play with. For example, one way you can look at this is if you look at one of these and you can kind of play, this is called scrolling. When you kind of play it, sort of all you do is kind of drag your cursor across it, it'll show you what it's going to look like, that animation. This particular one looks like this, so that's a little bit different. And so you'll need to kind of look through these until you find something that you think is pretty cool looking for you or whatever, and then you'll go ahead and apply it to your piece. So how do we do that? Okay, so let's say I want to go ahead and use this particular one that has these kind of shining lights right here. I'll look at this and I'll say, okay, yeah, that looks kind of cool. All I got to do is take that and drag it over to my piece. Now you notice I had my timeline there, right? Because I have that snap icon selected, it's going to snap right to my line. So that's going to help you with your timing. So let's say what we were trying to do, right, is to have the correct words come up at the correct time during the song. You want to make sure that your timeline indicator, that line that goes from top to bottom, is at that spot where you want that graphic to be. That's going to help you get the timing correctly. So once you're here, if you put your timeline over that particular section that you want to adjust, then all you got to do is double click on the text and then write whatever it is. These are the lyrics. And that's how you will build your timeline according to the song.